Today is the PLUME and PERCH collection launch day, and after I make the last two soaps, we will talk about it. The first soap that I am making today is Pink Flamingo. It was designed by my sister Penny, and the final soap we will be creating is a frosted top soap designed by my mom called Swallows of Capistrano. But first, the Pink Flamingo soap. Let's go make it. Okay guys, let's make Sister Penny proud with our soap design. I think this is going to be relatively easy to accomplish. She did do a pretty simple design, but I have to scallop the top, and admittedly, I am not good at that. Let's blend this up. The first layer is going to be a very bright orange to represent flamingo feet. So we're just going to pour off some batter, and then we can add in our fragrance oil and our color. This fragrance is a blend of the Royalty Soaps fragrance Summer Strawberry and Grapefruit Sorbet. I wanted to pick a fragrance that was all things pink and sweet and berry, and this is the perfect blend. In goes our orange, and we're going to blend it all up. Gotta get this into our mold really quickly because we want this layer to be nice and flat.
While you're doing that, I have a question.
Okay.
What do you call a baby flamingo?
A chick?
That's a good guess.
I mean, it is a bird after all.
Yeah, it is a flaminglet.
Why is it so much cuter to just put "et" at the end of a word?
That's what we should have done with our kids.
Liliet and Williamette.
But for our names, Caleblet and Katielet.
While this layer firms up, we can work on our pinks. We're gonna add in some Cosmic Carolyn, my favorite, my absolute princess of pinks, Cosmic Carolyn, into our base.
What a pretty color.
Thank you.
That reminds me of another question I have.
Oh boy.
Where is a flamingo's knee?
Knee? As in like the thing that bends so that you can walk?
Yeah.
I don't know, halfway up its leg?
Well, that thing is actually his ankle.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That is uncomfortable.
Their real knees are much higher up on their legs, and they're usually hidden by feathers.
I like their real knees. Like everything else is a faker knee.
Fake knees.
Bubblegum. Bubblegum, bubblegum, bubblegum for me.
Bubblegum, bubblegum.
Not Bubba Gump.
I got another question for you.
All right.
Why does a flamingo often stand on one leg?
'Cause he's tired.
Surprisingly, flamingos sway less when standing on one leg compared to two.
Wait, it's a balance thing?
Yeah.
Their bodies are just so oddly shaped. It's better to be on one leg?
Yeah.
That's insane.
This energy-saving posture reduces heat loss, especially when standing in cold water.
Wow. These are fascinating little birds. All right, just gonna ladle in our pink here. Go ahead and get all of that in, and let's pour it into our slab mold. This is very precarious. I'm having to be very careful. Gotta make sure that every single bar gets both pinks. That first layer is completely set up now. Scrapey, scrapey, my big containing. Soap is in. Let's tap this down. And now we have to wait because I'm gonna use this stainless steel scraper to make this scallop on top of our soap. But I can't do that when it's this runny. We're gonna have to wait until it gets a lot firmer. If I get this right, I will only have to use it twice.
Pressure's on.
Pressure is on big time. I'll just place it in. Okay, I'm clearly going to have to do multiple scrapes. Man, I can barely talk while I do this. It is so difficult.
You're doing fantastic.
Thank you. Okay. All right. That was so stressing. But it is time to add our glitter. So we're going to use a little bit of Spellbound from Mad Micas. It is a white glitter with a gold shimmer. Just gonna sprinkle that on top.
Last question.
All right, that's the perfect timing while I add the last glitter.
What is a flock of flamingos called?
I know it's gonna be something weird.
Flamboyance.
Oh, it's perfect. Okay, last bit of glitter here. No one's gonna be able to say I didn't add enough shimmer, okay? Gonna spritz the top very gently with rubbing alcohol and allow it to saponify for 18 to 24 hours, and then we will come back. We will take a look at the inside after this quick commercial break. I think I could have scraped this a little neater, but I'm not gonna complain, okay? It looks pretty good for the first time in a long time since I've used a soap scraper. I think Penny's gonna like this. Yeah, I mean, you know, you can still see the point definitely gets across. I do have some color in here that is slightly unincorporated. This is the first batch, meaning it is the test batch. So I'm going to brighten up this pink. We're gonna make sure that everything gets mixed in super, super good. But I do really like the color on the bottom. I think that's exactly what she highlighted in her drawing. Let's cut another one. All right, Caleb, hit me with that, what I know is going to be an outrageous question of the day.
Yeah, you got it. Would you rather have bird legs but human arms, or bird wings but T-Rex arms?
The bird wings, I guess, are just on the back like a fairy.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it.
You want to have T-Rex arms, huh?
But bird legs are so... Well, actually...
Depends on the bird.
I guess so.
Ostriches are a bird.
I mean, that's still pretty thin.
The kneecaps on an ostrich are crazy.
Honestly, bird legs are kind of strong. I'm changing my mind. I want bird legs.
All right.
They look like feathers. Just like a mound of feathers.
Yeah, another boa running by itself. Or like a mound of dirty laundry.
Now, I just love this one. Again, I do plan on making the pink a little tiny bit punchier, but overall, I love it. And the fragrance is so good. And now we move along to the bird that you guys have probably never heard of, the swallows of Capistrano. My mother, the queen of suds, when we were designing this collection, told us all about the swallows of Capistrano. It sounded like a movie. This is something she is legitimately, like, extremely passionate about. She would love to go see them one day. And I just knew we had to include it as a part of this collection. And I'm not gonna spoil anything for you because she literally sat down and wrote a little blurb about the swallow. It's really sweet. It's really sweet. Y'all are gonna love it. I take it back. I'm most concerned about this one. If I don't get it just right, it won't line up properly. So here's to hoping. Gonna pour in our lye water solution. Now there's no going back. Blend it on up. First layer. We gotta make these little bushes with these little flowers. And because I'm doing 2 soap loaves, these layers are not actually that big. Like, that's all the soap I need for it. We're gonna add in a custom green. This is green vibrance mixed with a little bit of green oxide, just to make it a little more punchy. Gonna blend it up real quick. Now, my mom and I smelled lots of different fragrances for this soap, and we ended up landing on Sunflower Sandalwood from Brambleberry. This was part, I believe, of their Bohemian Blooms collection quite a while ago, but it is one of my favorite fragrances. Just gonna pour that in there.
Smells good.
Smells super good. Just going to blend that in by hand. And then when everything is good and incorporated, I can add in our red flowers, which is really just some soap shavings that I made a bit earlier with both the small side and the big side of a cheese grater. Now, y'all know green vibrance does be making your soap look a little dingy, but it will look so much prettier tomorrow. So now I'm going to start adding in our soap shavings. I am going to add them in a little bit at a time. This soap is still a little bit sticky, and I want to make sure that all of the soap shavings don't clump clump together and stay pretty separate. Trying to separate them out a little bit as I add them in. Some people like to let their soap shavings sit for a little bit longer, and I have done that in the past, but for this soap it's just not necessary. Try to break it up a little bit with my spatula. Throw all this on the table. Like, it's really not that small a bowl here. Just aim. Okay, this looks great. Exactly how I want it to. So I'm gonna get my 2 brambleberry molds. All right, now I'm going to pour this in slowly. I'm going to go one way, switch, and go the other because I don't want one soap to have like a ton of flowers and the other one have none. They're pretty evenly distributed, but you can almost never stop it from having more at the bottom than at the top. They gonna sink a little. I'm not really worried about this soap having any air bubbles at this point. The batter's too runny for that. So I'm not going to smooth anything down because I want it to look like the flowers are peeking up in front of the mission. And if I make it totally flat, that won't look very natural. All right, I'm gonna set this off to the side, let it start to harden a little bit. Now I'm gonna start working on our middle layer. This is going to be 2 different shades of sort of a bricky color. I'm trying, of course, to make the color of like Adobe, but we'll see how close I can get to that. It feels a little bit intimidating. I'm gonna start by adding some fire cider, and we'll see where that gets us.
I have an essay. Yes.
Oh, we've upgraded.
We have.
Okay.
It is written by the Queen herself.
Oh, okay.
It is titled The Swallows. Every March 19th, St. Joseph's Day, the people of San Juan Capistrano look skyward with hopeful anticipation of the return of the swallows. They know the small birds have been on a 6,000-mile migration journey from Goya, Argentina, for weeks to return to their place of birth, as they have famously done for centuries. Originally drawn to the 2 rivers and abundant insects of the area, they come to this charming town to create new mud nests and raise their broods under the eaves of the mission San Juan's Capistrano's graceful arches. These feathery visitors stay through the summer and typically begin their flight to Argentina around October 23rd. As the ringing of the mission's historic bells float on the air, a deep emotional connection and sense of pride swells in the hearts of the residents. While the renowned day continues with flamenco dance performances, food, and festive music, Father St. John O'Sullivan, pastor of Mission San Juan Capistrano from 1910 to 1933, is credited with starting the tradition of welcoming the swallows and making their return a celebrated event. The excitement is palpable when the swallows are spotted building nests at the mission, as it signifies the continuation of this cherished tradition.
Stop me tearing up a little. Stop me tearing up a little. I cannot be trusted with touching stories.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I love that the whole community looks forward to that annually. That's so fun.
Yeah, it's a signal for hope for them to see all those birds flying in and making their nests.
Aww.
Makes this soap just a little bit more special.
Yeah, it does. I mean, all of the soaps this month are really special because individual family members created these designs, but I do feel like this is kind of the crowning glory. It's the most complicated by far, and I definitely think it has the most meaning to my mom. She just really, really loves the whole idea of the swallows of Capistrano.
Oh yeah, it was a passion project, I think, for her to write that, and she loved doing the research on it, and it's pretty special.
All right, I am gonna blend these up with a stick blender. This is going to represent the mission. So I wanted to have a little bit of variance in the color there just to make it look like maybe some shadows, maybe some highlights, maybe some older spots or newer spots kind of in the building. So we're gonna pour that in there. And then I am gonna mix it. I'm gonna mix it a little more than I normally would. You guys know I like really, really distinct lines. For this soap, that's not the point. The point, again, is to kind of show some depth, some texture. So I don't need these lines to to be very specific, so I'm gonna run it through quite a few times there. So hopefully that's a little bit more streaky. And then we're going to add it to the molds. Now this layer has set up really good already, so I'm not even gonna break the fall. It's very, very hard. And you can see the lighter color and the darker color are a lot more mixed than they normally are, so it's going to have a really, really pretty gradient. I'm also going to mix how I pour it in. So I went front to back on that first pour. Now I'm going to go side to side, and then I'll go front to back again. I have a soap scraper that my brother Elisha kindly made for me, and I know I'm going to have to mound up the soap a little bit in the middle for this layer so that we get a nice dome for our mission. May take a couple of passes to get this exactly right, but that's okay because we have time. This is still a little bit jiggly, so we're gonna let it sit for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then when I come back, if it doesn't wiggle at all, I think that's when we can kind of make our first pass. Okay, so again, this is gonna take a couple of passes, but that's okay. We don't mind. What we really just want is for it to look perfect, which actually, that's pretty good. I need to fill in some spots down there, but much better than the flamingo soap, am I right? So again, just gonna fill in any places that I feel kind of gapped a little bit hard. We'll go over it one more time, but like areas like this already look perfect. So we're already doing better than I thought we were gonna do. All right, I think one more pass maybe? I think that looks really good. All right, second round, just definitely more soap in the other one. That's okay, because we'll just go in and fill in some of those gaps. All right, really loving this. Looking super, super, super good. So let's blend up sort of our morning skyline. All right, this has gotten pretty thick, but again, not that big a deal because this is just the final layer on the top. So I'm gonna add in some true yellow. Again, trying to make this look like a morning sunrise. Gonna go ahead and add in the rest of our fragrance as well. Mix these in by hand. All right, let's pour our beautiful sunny sunset on top, or sunrise, whichever one is more likely to have swallows, I guess. All right, we're gonna tap this down on the ground, remove any air bubbles. All right, this next part is supposed to look a little tiny bit like a swallow nest, which is very gray, and then it has some shades of brown and white in it. They make their little nests underneath the eaves, and it's really, really cute, honestly. So quite frankly, the piping just needs to look a tiny bit dirty. I added some metallic colors to this, so it'll be shiny, but it just needs to look, you know, like something a swallow would make.
Speaking of a swallow nest, did you know that each pair of birds builds a nest using up to 1,200 mud pellets?
Oh my gosh, that's actually insane. They're also, I mean, they're not that big.
Yeah, they gather the mud from riverbanks, puddles, ditches, or even construction sites where there's soft, pliable soil. And the swallows mix the mud with their saliva.
Oh, all right, delicious.
Which acts as a natural adhesive, which helps keep their nest together. In fact, sometimes even heavy rains don't wash it away, and they can sometimes even stay intact with flooding.
Whoa! They're like, listen, that ain't going nowhere.
Katie, I checked the comments of the video that you made.
Which video?
The video where we made the brambleberry kits.
Oh, you mean you checked the comments of the video you were in?
Well, yes. Turns out they want you to make a knife with me.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
So I'm tying you down. Are you going to commit to it? Are you going to make a knife with me?
I mean, I would love to. You know, I got that handle material that I couldn't pass up at Blade Show. I didn't even have an idea for it. I just was like, lemons, that's for me.
It's beautiful stuff, and it'll make a gorgeous handle.
Maybe we should do lemon knife, lemon soap.
Oh, yes. We make the knife, and then we cut the soap.
With the knife?
Yes! Bravo! Encore!
Leave us a comment if you want to see it.
And hey, liking the video is also a nice incentive for us to get that done.
That's right. Lets me know y'all are serious about wanting knife soap content. Let me tell y'all something. I was watching the Great British Baking Show, one of the older seasons last night, and they had a whole episode that was called like, It's Mexican Food Week. And I was like, hey, I am a Texan. This is gonna speak to me. And I have never been so riled up because let me tell you something. I'm the worst Texan you've ever met. I barely have an accent. I don't do any Texan things. I don't know a pair of cowboy boots. I don't have a cowboy hat. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. But the way British people say tacos, it's like, I know they make fun of the way that we say certain words. That's abysmal. It's offensive. It is not a taco. Taco. Say it with me, class. Taco.
Yes.
Also, refried beans, you shouldn't be able to see a bean in them. It should look like
Mash.
It should be mashed.
Blended.
Mashed, blended. There should be no discernible ingredient. It should just look like brown potatoes. Anyways, I know that was eating y'all up to think about British people and tacos. Now let me show y'all the little sparrow embeds we have because they're insanely tiny. And my sister Shelly took the time to paint every single one of them. They're literally the size of my fingernail. This is quite frankly not going to be very easy to add to these soap bars. They're just so bloomin' tiny. So I tell you what, I will add the rest of them right now, and then I'll bring you back with the power of movie magic. And there you have it. The swallows of Capistrano have been finished. Let me zoom you in so you can see these teeny tiny little burbs. Aren't they cute? She even took the time to put the little bit of red that they have on their little breast. They're so cute. We will be back tomorrow to take a peek at the inside. We have a little stamp to go on the top of our mission. We'll see how our little soap scraper did after this quick commercial break. The next day, this soap looks so good. And see, look, our ugly little green has turned nice and bright. I'm gonna flip it on its side here to make sure we don't cut our little burbs. We gotta protect the burbs. Hopefully nobody's tail gets got. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
You're looking.
It's going to be a casualty.
Oh no. I think that's as close as I can get without getting someone else's tail though. Okay, well that wasn't too bad, I don't suppose. Let's pull one out of the middle here. This is what it looks like on the inside.
All right.
Looks good.
Yeah, very pleased with that. So we've got our little mission here. We got some foliage out on the lawn. Sunrise or sunset? I don't know which one we're leaning towards. Is this a sunrise or a sunset? Okay.
Actually, we'll be able to tell if it's a sunset or sunrise when we put the cross in, and we'll look at the shadow.
Anyway.
Look at the little burbs on the side. I hope my mom loves this because I feel like we got really close to her illustration. But we still have to add the cross on the top of the mission so that you know that what it is and not just like this architectural lump with some sky behind it.
It's the Alamo.
It's the
I have a question of the day.
All right.
You gotta announce yourself.
Swallows. So swallows, okay, they migrate thousands of miles every year. If you had wings and no obligations, where would you go and never come back?
There's so many places in the world I haven't traveled to, but I feel like there's lots of options. I feel like I've only been out of the States. I've only ever been to Cambodia, so I don't know.
You went to, is it Qatar?
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 It was beautiful there, and I really want to go visit, and I mean, the airport was, like, phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, we also landed in Bangkok, and I could look out the window there and could see how cool Thailand was, so now I'm like, I have, like, 4 different places I looked at, but I've never been there, so I don't know. Would I ever come back? I mean, all the people I love and know are here, basically, so I'd come back, I guess, to visit unless they moved with me, but I don't know where I'd go. I think I'd sample a couple of different places in the land somewhere. How about you guys? That's who I really want to know, especially for those of y'all who have traveled far more extensively than I have. Where have you gone to that you're like, I could live there? All right, Elisha Paul made me this little cross right here so that I can put it on top of our mission so that you actually know what it is. Ooh. that was squishy. I may have over squished. Ah, ta-da! Okay, so that looks way more like it's supposed to. Now it actually makes sense in the design with our little burbs, the mission in the front. I hope the folks of Capistrano feel adequately represented because it's such a cool story and it's such a cool phenomenon. So here is the full collection in all of its glory. Aren't those boxes fantastic? I had so much fun designing these soaps with my family, and I hope you guys love them. If you would like to pick up a few, they will be available at royaltysoaps.com tonight. But listen, I really would love y'all's feedback on this collection. You can leave me a comment down below, or you can take a little teeny tiny survey that I put together. It's in the description box below. Did you love this collection? Did you think it was interesting? Are the fragrances appealing to you? Is there a different type of collection you would love to see in the future? I want to hear from you. You guys are literally the reason why I make these videos. So I want to make sure that I am giving the people what they want. Have an absolutely royal day. Be sure you do something for yourself today, like watching a documentary narrated by David Attenborough, or going bird watching with some friends. You know, I don't really care what you do. Just do something for you. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.